Yeah, hi, it's Keith. Good morning, good evening, or wherever you are. Going to talk about the Sunsync Connect app. It's one of the most amazing parts of the Sunsync system. So if you've not used the Sunsync inverter before, then the app is quite special. We have two ways to access it. One is the app and one is the portal. The portal will give you more information and it will do a lot more things for you. I'm actually today, I'm just going to talk briefly about the app. I'm not the expert. So first of all, I'm not the app man. That's Joel Egan. He's the app man. I'm not. I'm an electrical engineer. So some of it I'm going to may struggle, but I'm going to explain what I can explain and what I know about it. Of course, the app does a lot more than what I can explain, but I'm just going to talk about the simple side of the app. So it's called Sunsynk Connect. You can you can download it from the App Store or from Play Store, whatever. And I go on here, and if I type in Sunsync, it comes up right at the top of the list there. And it's this one. It's called Sunsynk Connect. And you can download it. So it's actually asking me for an update, but I'm not going to do the update at the moment because otherwise we'll be sitting waiting for the whole video while the update comes on. So let me start off the app. I'm going to actually put in a plant which is actually my own home. Which is actually just to show you how it works. So this is actually the first page, what you will see. This is actually not necessarily the first page. This is the first page after you've done the settings. So you will have to set it up. And so you will actually enter into a page like this, which actually sets the app up. Now, I'm not going to talk about the pairing and everything else. Joel's done plenty of things about pairing. I'm just going to talk about the features of the app rather than how it pairs and how it sets up with the data logger. So you've got the basic information here. You've got a few things that may be of interest. You've got the sort of cost of investment valuation method. If you're going on to, you can change the valuation method if you're going to use, like, for example, Octopus Agile. There's got a different valuation method, and it's fairly easy to change. And I'll explain about how things are changed and various things later. So this is the first page that you'll see. On this page, you'll see obviously the power coming in, the capacity, an overview, a simple flow, obviously the batteries and the grid, the house and the solar. You see a flow where the power is going from. The arrows do change directions. One thing to bear in mind, the app is samples. It's not constant. So there's a sampling period. So when it takes a sampling, it won't always match line by line to the inverter, because every sort of 5 minutes it takes a snapshot, and what you're seeing is a snapshot. You're not seeing real-time information. If you were to see real-time information, then it would take up all your data from your internet, and it would be a massive amount of information going back to our servers as well. It can't be done. So we just simply take a snapshot every so many minutes, and then that's what you display. So sometimes there are discrepancies. People say to me, say, "Oh, well, how come the app is showing this but the screen showing this?" Because it is a snapshot, and it depends exact second when a snapshot is taken. Below onto it, you'll see the sort of generation, and the generation side here, which is quite nice. I tend to use the month, and you'll see on the month here, because I do like the month, and this will show you the sort of the load on a daily basis. You see the dailies. It shows month, but it actually shows you daily, and it'll show you the load, the PV, the export, import, charge, everything. And as long as you're basically not importing from the grid, you should be importing much lower than you're using. And so obviously that's the PV is working. If you haven't got PV, then you're just relying on off-peak electricity without PV, then you will be importing more than you're using, but you're obviously importing at a cheaper rate. So that's quite important. It's got a couple of other things on it. You can actually see the weather information. So if you're looking at it remotely, if you're an installer and you're monitoring lots of sites, you can see the weather information. You've also got investment return rate, energy conservation, how much CO2 you're saving the planet. So it's quite a nice feature. Underneath at the bottom of it, you'll see three buttons: overview, equipment, and event. If you press the equipment, it's to the inverters. Now, there could be just one inverter on the plant, or there could be multiple inverters. The one I'm going to show you here, which actually is my home, has got 3 inverters on it. It's just purely a test site. I'll click onto the middle inverter. and instantly I will see lots of things: the output, the input, the battery, the grid, the load, event, lots of things that's going on. If I move the screen up a little bit, and then I can actually look at the generation. Again, I actually like to use the month side, but this, if you want to look at real time, of course, you can use it. You can use the generation on a day point. You can see exactly what's going on. But if I click on the month, it will show you my generation, what's being generated each day. Now this actually, you can look at each part of the section. So I can go onto the input, which is the grid. I can look at the battery condition. So it'll tell me the battery condition, the SOC, the state of charge of the battery, the voltage, the current, the temperatures, lots of things. And by clicking on each one, I can look at the daily rate on the SOC, or alternatively, I can look at the voltages or the currents. And typically, if you look at an SOC on a daily, you'll see sort of this sort of thing going on. As the day moves on, the charge will come up, and as the evening or you go into the night, the charge drops down. And that's a very typical. During the winter months in the UK, it's not very clever because we don't get any sunshine in the UK. During the winter months in Australia or South Africa, there's no difference because you've got loads of sunshine. So you'll see very clear the voltages. A couple of things to bear in mind, which is quite nice. If I go back onto the system page here, where I show my equipment, you'll see at the top corner 3 little dotted lines here. You'll see the 3 little dots. If you click on the 3 dots and it goes into settings, now providing you've got the access to this, you can change the settings. So in fact, what you'll see here, you'll see battery settings, system mode, grid settings, auxiliary load, basic settings, advanced settings. And by clicking on this, it will give you all the settings that's on the inverter, and any of the settings can be changed. You will need to get permissions to do this, as permissions are normally set by the person who provides you the inverter. Normally for the end user, we don't normally recommend it because you don't want to change things that can possibly damage the inverter accidentally, or somebody pick up the phone and mess about with it. So we normally not recommend it. But again, because you don't want to change things that can possibly damage the inverter accidentally, or somebody pick up the phone and mess about with it. So we normally not recommend it. But again, it's up to you. If you're the installer, of course, the installer can get it, and it's up to the installer then if the installer passes those rights on to his customers. So that is very clear. You can do absolutely every single setting on the inverter can be changed from them, everyone. But as I say, you can, things like paralleling and the master slave can also be changed from there. So you have to be very, very careful. There's also another button at the top here, which is there. And if you press on that button, it's where you can remember settings. So if you had, for example, a site, and you remembered the site, which was a particular setting, and you want to then move that setting to somebody else's. So if I've got here, on this particular one, it's marked Roy House, and in fact it's got a whole set of settings, and I can actually upload those settings, for example, to my inverter or vis-a-vis copying. Make it very simple. If you have installed one inverter and you've got it all absolutely right, and you go to next door, then you can remember the settings on that inverter and transfer it to next doors, and so on and so forth, and that way makes life much easier. Going on to there's lots of things. What you'll see here, you'll see inverter, gateway, AC switch. AC switch is a new product that we're launching. It's a wireless switch that will be available. I keep promising it, but it is, I promise you, it is way under development. It's a little bit like the auxiliary load. A lot of people said to me, do you need to use a booster or some sort of switch or some sort of box of tricks to work with a central heating, not central heating, hot water tank? And basically, no, you don't. Our unit, you can connect it directly to the auxiliary port, or you'll be able to use the AC switch, which will later on come free with the inverter. We supply one, and then after that, there's a small charge for if you want more and more of them. Nice feature, because the AC switch basically is a switch that will switch on when the battery is a certain level, and the battery drops, it will switch off. And it's a very simple. It's a nice little feature. If you go onto the app, one of the things on the app which is really nice, and I'll go onto the equipment here. is the ability to custom make. You can actually, it says custom here, and you can custom make your own view. So you can choose here. It says parameter selection in the top corner, and you click your parameter selection. Now, default is 6, and it only does 6. So I can then I can choose what I want to pick up. So I can say total import, total export, and then I might want to know something like the CT coils, or if I've got a meter, the loading, daily consumption. I've just put on here. So I've just taken total import, total export, PV string 1, and the battery SOC. And you can do up to 6. Press confirm in the top corner, and this will give you a very nice graph. So in fact, if I go back the day before, not that day, and they're all overlaid there, and this will give you a really, really nice custom report. So if you want a particular report and you want to look at absolutely anything on the inverter, you can do it. It's very simple. You've all got the preset ones, but the custom one is quite a nice feature, and it's something that people do tend to like if you're used to using it. So what else? There's lots and lots of things. The thing does all sorts of stuff. Masses and masses of information. But the most important thing, you can see exactly what's going on. Understand there is a refresh period. And that's a very simple introduction. There is other videos showing you how to program, how to match the data logger to the to our system, to the pairing, but that's a different story, and that's more advanced for me, so I'm not going to show that. So I hope this very simple introduction is useful, and please keep subscribing because there's lots more coming on. Thanks for following us. Choose smart energy. No power, no